Nealman rose near side, looks deep for Trajan. And did he make the catch? They're saying he did. Trajan Hansen, he and the defender got into each other, goes down and makes the grab.
Pass is complete.
And it is 1st and goal, Lone Peak. Deseret News Rewind is presented by Heidemann & Associates. Call them now for a free consultation, 801-754-4240, or go to utah.law. Welcome in Deseret News Rewind. Dusty Litster, Dane Stewart, as always, presented by Heidemann & Associates.
That's right, Dusty, full-service law firm, locations throughout the state of Utah. And whether you're interested in, figuring out something with your business or something personal, will and trust, whatever you got going on, give them a call, 801-754-4240.
As always, we want to thank Justin Heidemann for his support of Deseret News Rewind. And just because someone's a great friend doesn't mean they support you.
Yeah.
And Justin's both. So, but we want to thank him for what they do. And also the Utah Army National Guard, up to $20,000 in signing bonuses depending on the job that you want to take on, and you get training. Want to be a better manager, learn better leadership skills, the Utah Army National Guard is there for you. Go to nationalguard.com. Up to $20,000 in a signing bonus. That's upfront cash.
Yeah. As
Randy Moss might say, straight cash, homie. Right at you. So go look them up as well. Well, the state tournament got kicked off yesterday. 4A, 5A, well, all of them kicked off yesterday. We got a game going today, Herkin and Ridgeline. We're shooting this on Saturday morning. And very, very interesting. Let's get to the opening argument brought to you by Heidemann & Associates. And actually, it's not even an argument, opening statement. I got to get out of that. Opening statement. New format here in the state of Utah. We're not banging the RPI drum. I'm talking about formatting of the state tournament.
Yeah.
Is this better than the preceded tournament?
Well, I know some people are going to say yes and some people are going to say no, right? When you look across 6A and 5A, we'll start there, and had very few upsets, really. I mean, when you look at it, you look at the teams that advanced in 5A, I think the majority of the 1 through 4 seeds in each region won their first round game. And I think when you look at 6A, you obviously had the upset, Layton over Weber. Of course, Weber drummed them by 30 earlier in the year. So part of that is, is this really how we want a team that finishes in the top 3 of a region to go out losing to a number 6? And I mean, it is what it is. I don't know that it's better, Dusty. I think for some classifications, it really didn't have much impact. For other classifications, certainly some impact. The thing that I think was tough for me, I was here at Murray Skyline, talking with both coaches, said, hey, you've got a region game in your first round. And I kind of joked on the stream because they're like, yeah, and if we win this game, then we get to go play Olympus. And if we win that game, we might play Brighton. And so it's like, all right, so we got a region playoff on route to a semifinal or state championship. I think that's the thing that for me I don't love. But in fairness, that's how the math worked out. What do you want them to do? Right.
Well, so I think 2 things for me. One is if we're still playing regions, got to figure out how to get it to where we're not playing region game, which some of it I don't mind that happens in the first round if that's the way it shakes out in the math, right? The other part is that every region sitting in your bracket on your end is a little bit tough. But the other one to me, and I know Layton wins, and we had one more upset. I don't want to blink, and you already said it. But we had those teams that, hey, they wouldn't have won a state tournament game if we didn't allow everyone in the state tournament. Well, I think it's not a state tournament if everyone's in. It's a state invitational into the second round of the state tournament. And that to me, it loses a little bit of that luster of making the state tournament, right? It's awesome that in their first year that Cedar Valley wins a state tournament game. That's great. That's terrific. But it's not a state tournament because it's just the extension. It's week 11.
Yeah.
And it loses a little bit of that luster. And when you look at some of the lopsided games yesterday, I know that was part of it. Hey, we don't want to have big games, big teams playing each other in the first rounds like you had last year, PG East and things like that. But some of that is even better than what we had yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it's interesting, and we'll see how it plays out for football. Girls soccer just wrapped up this weekend. And how about this? You look at the 5A state bracket. You want to know the 4 final seeds that made it? The 16 seed, the 5 seed, the 6, and the 7. And then you look at 6A in girls soccer, and I think you had 1, 2, 3, and 5, if I recall correctly, somewhere around there. Anyway, one didn't have much impact. The other one, that tournament got upside down pretty quickly. And, for me, I like my state tournament to be, hey, we deserve or we earn a berth rather than we deserve a berth. And I think that's the thing for me that I still don't really love. It's going to be interesting to see. In the girls soccer tournament, all those teams in 5A played a first round matchup. No one with a bye made it to the semifinals. Very different story in 6A, and I think we'll figure out in this 5A and 6A football state tournament how that works out. Going to be interesting, but for me, that's still the piece that I would love to see readjusted.
And I think the beauty of what we always say about what's going on right now is that the Activity Association say, hey, year to year, we will figure this out. And I think a lot of that has been toward the formula. I think it's got to be toward the format.
Yeah.
That the RPI can select the 16 top teams, because that's what we had in years past.
Yeah, and I'll even go a step beyond that. For me, I'd love to see region champion. You get one region champ, and you take them, automatic berth. But we're slotting a 16 seed tournament based on RPI. You might win your region, but you might be the 15 seed depending on where that RPI comes in. Well, we're going to go 1 through 16 based on an RPI formula, and you get one automatic berth. So when you get a tie, your region has to figure out how to break that tie, whether it's head-to-head, whether it's opponents, point differential, whatever that might be, up to the region to figure that out. Maybe it's RPI ranking, I don't know. But you get one automatic berth, the rest slotted, and let it play out. I
agree, and I think someone has to be, if we're going to keep regions, which I think we should, I think we should keep regions, there's got to be something for winning that region.
Right.
Has to. You have to award it. If you're going to keep it, that has to mean something. If you're going to feed in your region, that needs to have something for you.
Yeah.
And they got to figure that out. But you know, as it is, I'm not poo-pooing what happened. What happened yesterday, because there were some fun games, there's some great performances. Go check out Dane RT5 for that. But just curious if it was better, and a little bit it was anticlimactic into the point of get the rankings come out, but in some of the games you already knew where they were, and that's the hard part. And I'm not a participation badge guy or participation trophy guy, but I'm also I'm not out to embarrass kids either. And in some cases, that's what happened yesterday, and that's what I want to help avoid. Some of it you can't, however you go about it, you're not going to avoid it. But in the numbers, in droves, the lopsided games yesterday.
Well, especially you look at the lower classifications. When you look at 2A, how about these for points scored? Duchesne scored 67, Enterprise 50, Kanab 74, Parowan 55. 4 of the 5 games in 2A, Dusty, had a point differential larger than 40 points.
Yeah. What are we gaining out of that?
Why?
And I can tell you, as someone that, in the way that it just happens, my sophomore year, we lost 69-0 at Snow Canyon. That was a long bus ride back to Price. And that was a pre-seeded tournament. We earned the 4 seed. We knew we had to go to the Region 9-1. That's just something that you can't avoid it. We made it in a 16-team tournament, and it's just what happens. So some of you can't avoid it, but some we can help that the number of them happen. So hit us up. What do you think? Hit us up at D News Rewind at Dusty Litster or Dane_Stewart, or respond here on Facebook through the comments. What do you think? Is the formatting better? What do you like about it? What don't you? And we'll see what we can get back in our meeting with Rob Cuff that we always do every year. All right, let's get to it. The best of 5, your best of 6A. What we want to talk about is, we'll get to the games in our quick hits, but here, best of 6A, your favorite matchup in the new round number 2.
Yeah, I think there are a couple here that really stand out. I think the matchup for me that is maybe the most interesting, Dusty, is going to be Pleasant Grove and Syracuse. And you look at this, and you have Bridger Hamblin for Syracuse. He has done a lot of different stuff for the Syracuse offense this year. You're Region 1 champion. And a lot of times in the playoffs, Region 4 gets a lot of love. Hey, every Region 4 team advanced. Every one of them advanced. And then, you know, you've got Region 1 and Region 2 that sometimes don't get the credit they deserve. That Syracuse offense really good. PG defense really good. I think there's a strength-on-strength battle. Going to be fun to see how PG, that defense, Tautioli, Connors, how they try to slow up Bridger Hamblin, because he's dynamic. He can throw the football on you. He can run it on you. He's got a lot of weapons around him, including Ty Burke. I think that's going to be a really, really fun matchup.
I think the obvious one in 6A, Lone Peak and Sky Ridge, the battle of the Timpanogos Highway. Not that this game was just a couple of weeks ago, and it was a 1-point game, 2-point game, and that's what has been the 2 matchups historically between these two, last year and this year, at Sky Ridge. All 3 games to open up this series against each other at Sky Ridge. And Sky Ridge come off a bye after struggling against Westlake. Well, Westlake came back, tied that game up. They won in the last moments. Can the Lone Peak offense find its way? That game against Riverton, do not be skewed in seeing the points. That was all defense, turnovers, special teams made a difference in that one, and the running game got going for Lone Peak. So they played all 3 quarterbacks. Romney started, Nealman came in, White got in the game as well, 2 lefties to 1 righty. Only team in America is going to tell you that. And so this will be very, very interesting. That is, I think it's an obvious one, because you get the reigning 6A champion. We also have a team in Sky Ridge and their region foes.
Yeah, it should be fun.
And it wouldn't normally have been a 2nd round game. That's the other fun one too.
Yeah.
All right, your best of 5A.
Well, a couple matchups here as well. I think some headlining matchups with, you know, great powers that once were and some that currently are. The one to me that I think is sneaky that you got to watch out for, Wasatch and Highland. I think there's a really interesting matchup. How about Region 8? I mean, we talked about Salem Hills, Provo, 1 and 2 seeds in this tournament. But you look at the way that Region 8 is represented. Springville played really well in the first round. Wasatch played well in the first round. And now they're going to go up against that running attack for the Highland Rams, which got back on track in the first round. I mean, they ran the football extremely well in their first round victory over Mountain Ridge. Defense is going to be a little more stout when they have to go and have Heber come to town, right? But you have Thackeray for the Wasatch Wasps. Are they able to establish a run, keep that Highland defense off the field? Can they stay true in their assignments against that flex option for the Highland Rams? Meanwhile, for Highland, hey, we saw them against Brighton. Offense did not look like they wanted to. That's a physical defense as well. I think that's actually a really interesting matchup. Two teams that like to establish the run. Which one's going to be able to do it with the #1 seed waiting in the wings?
You know, Provo and Provo Alta. I mean, this is going to be, I think it's going to be a great game. Provo gets the bye. Haslam got nicked up toward the end of the year. How much of 100% is he? But you got Dallin Havea running the football. Yeah, yesterday, Cinco Lucero threw for 400 yards again.
Yeah.
Thomason, without DeAndre on the other side, 220 yards receiving. You got a defense that's playing really, really well.
Yeah.
Lucky Final's playing great for Alta as well. And Provo getting the bye week. How do they deal with the success?
Yeah.
Because here's the deal, and this is Coach McGeary's last year here in the state of Utah after 31 years, they have not won a first-round game. They've been in the state tournament every year since 2014 and have not won a first-round game. I think a number of those have been at home. I know last year against Viewmont was at home. I think back to Maxis Tupine and Murray, beat them with cash at home. And so can they get over the hump of a playoff game at home? And it's a tough call to get Alta coming into town.
Here's the other thing. How do you deal with the pressure? I mean, Provo, look, you're the #2 seed, right? I mean, people expect you to make a run. By the way, if you get past this, you got Timpview Springville waiting in the wings.
Right.
I think people might think Timpview. Okay, so you think back to the year. This was the year Provo was supposed to beat Timpview. Now they maybe have a shot at redemption. They're going to get caught looking ahead. This is a game that I think the Provo Bulldogs, we're going to find out a lot about this group and Coach McGarry and what they have, what kind of mettle they have.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's another one. Lehigh at Woods Cross.
Yeah.
Oh, Dougie.
Yeah,
That's a good one. That game could be, I don't know how many light bulbs are in that scoreboard. That is going to be, that could be a blast of a game as well.
Yeah, that might be a late night, some caffeine maybe in Woods Cross on this Friday.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to the quick hits brought to you by the Utah Army National Guard.
Well, Dusty, I mean, we talked about a couple of upsets. Let's talk about one, and this was one that I thought had a great potential. How about Jordan over West Jordan? And, boy, it was Fuimaono to Paulo. 57-yard touchdown was the difference. The Jordan Beat Diggers, we talked about, had a tough regular season schedule. In the playoffs, they get West Jordan, upset the Jags. Congratulations to the Jordan Beat Diggers on advancing to the second round.
Hey, we talked about some games being lopsided. How about one that was not, because the Cedar Red men, I don't remember their schedule, their name is now, Cedar City, all they do is win close games. 21-19 over first-year Crimson Cliffs. It was a touchdown. Kobe Meeks had 2 first-half touchdowns, and in the very end, it was a late touchdown by Curtis Sweeten, made this game a 1-point game, but it was Kobe Meek with a 78-yard touchdown from Jaron Garrett. And Cedar City gets a 21-19 win over Crimson Cliffs.
You like close games?
Yeah, I love it.
Here's a close game for you.
Gotta have them.
Layton and Weber. We talked about it earlier, folks. This was a 40-something to 13 type of win for the Weber Warriors back in midseason. And the Layton Lancers come into the playoffs. They trailed 21-7 to the Warriors. Back comes Layton. Tyler Reed with 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown in overtime. Weber gets the touchdown in overtime. The PAT, this is, oh no.
Yeah.
The PAT misses wide to the left, and the Layton Lancers with the upset bid, the biggest in the first round in the state playoffs this year, 28-27 over Weber.
What if I told you a team had the state's leading rusher, the state's all-purpose yards leader, and they don't win a first-round playoff game? Richfield gets San Juan. The Broncos, a 6 seed, lose to the 10 seed in Richfield. Richfield, it was a very, very tough region this year. And it's a 41-20 win. Gavin Brown rushed for 2 touchdowns, connected with Britton Riddle for another, as Richfield took care of business against the San Juan Broncos.
You want to know who's happy about this whole RPI thing? The Westlake Thunder.
Yes,
hey, they're like, we just need a chance in the tournament. They get it, and they do not miss the opportunity. They go up to Davis and handle the Davis darts. It was Braden Ross with 3 passing touchdowns, 35-14. I think it was a 21-0 lead for Westlake. Congratulations to the Thunder. Welcome to the 6A state playoffs.
That's a situation where Coach Wong just says, hey guys, get me to a state tournament and I will show you how to win.
Right.
He knows how to do it.
Yeah,
he knows how to do it. And
yeah.
And congratulations. I think it's their first win, right?
I think so.
I don't know that they had another win in the state tournament. Could be off, and I hadn't looked that one up, but be very, very interesting as well. We had some other games that just didn't. They had tough ones. Actually, we saw this one here. We didn't go normal one. We'll let you do this one, but Murray Skyline.
Boy, interesting ball game. And, you know, these two teams had played in region. Murray had a 10-point lead at half in that game. They had a 10-point lead in half at this game. Actually, it was 17 round one, 10-point in this one. Second half, Skyline comes out and this offense starts chumming. They get the defense going. They picked up a safety. All of a sudden, Skyline looked dead in the first half. Hey, they got themselves a second half lead. But Jarrett Hendrickson, we've talked about him, right? We told you, people came up to us in the offseason and said, watch out, this is the year for Murray. And Hendrickson leads to 2 touchdowns in the second half, including the game winner with 1:44 left. And Ajo So, impressive athlete on the outside here for Murray. Skyline did a nice job of taking him away after his first touchdown 16 seconds into the ball game. But it was Owen Madsen that really stepped up, had a couple of receiving touchdowns in this one. Murray able to come from the lead, from behind, to get the win, 36-28 over Skyline.
You know, we had that one, and then Stephen Cruz had the Alta Box Elder game, and we talked about it. I kind of teased it a little bit earlier, but Cinco Lucero, 409 yards, 3 touchdowns on the night. Daniel Thomas, 227 yards of receiving, and Tuataki, 101 yards rushing. But Box Elder, Buchanan and crew, they always find a way to make it close. They mucky up the game, and they give themselves a shot, just couldn't quite get over the hump. It was a great defensive effort. We talked about Jordan Falls, 5 tackles, 3 TFLs. Lingman, 8 tackles, a TFL sack. And I mean, this is what happens. Coaching staff sends us a bunch of stats. We get a lot of information on this one. But Alta, getting that win to head down to Provo.
How about a game that we previewed a little bit, thought it might be interesting in 6A, West making the trek up to Fremont. And what did we say? We said Stratford. Can't turn the ball over. Okay, I'll just go throw for 4 passing touchdowns, 3 of them to Sagapolo, as Fremont 35-10, the victors over the West Panthers.
I didn't notice if he didn't look at the yards. I'm sure he threw for 300 yards in that one too.
Probably.
How about Bountiful? We told you, look out for Bountiful. We gave you the name, McCann. Knew he'd be good. Coaching staff let us know, hey, guys, we thank you, right? Go down to Maple Mountain, a team that can score points. And Bountiful gets a big win down in Spanish Fork.
McCann had all 4 touchdowns in that. Rushing touchdowns from 3 yards, 33 yards, 51 yards, and an 80-yard kickoff return. So a big night for Jarrett McCann. How about Bonneville, Spanish Fork, Dusty, and the Bonneville Lakers? We talked about Westlake. Bonneville, look, this is a great program historically. Been down in recent years. But we mentioned that Region 5. You had to watch out for the Lakers. I think they finished 3rd in that region, if I recall correctly. And they deal with the Dons in the first round, 14-7. Cordshaw had a rushing touchdown. The difference in this ball game, defense. Boston Bauer, a 72-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown. All points came in the first quarter. It was enough for the Lakers, 14-9.
Hey, Cedar Valley's looking around and saying, hey, how hard is it to win your first year? It ain't that hard. They get their first playoff.
What's the big deal, guys? Sheesh.
We got it done. Congratulations, Cedar Valley. Jackson Hooley, a 5-yard pass and
5 passing
touchdowns. Sorry, took care of Canyon View. Canyon View made it to the state tournament their first year too.
How about the defending champions in 3A, Summit Academy, Dusty? Tough year for Summit Academy. They led this ball game 14-0 over American Leadership. And Leadership just decides to score 39 unanswered points. Big night for Fielding Morley. Had 2 receiving touchdowns and a pick 6. 39-29. American Leadership knocks out the defending state champs.
The Templars took care of business in the first round. Had that tough loss to end the year. It was Jack Perry with a 4 passing touchdown getting a big win over Grand.
How about Juan Diego? Tough year for Juan Diego. We've talked about that. They were 4-5 entering the playoffs. We kind of said, could they really leave in the first round? No. 42-7 over Delta as Jaden Madry with 4 rushing touchdowns.
We kind of leaned into this one earlier, talking about the disparity. How about Kanab and Monticello? Tough night for the Buckaroos. 74 points for the Kanab Cowboys. It was Chatterley, 3 rushing touchdowns, 4 TDs. I mean, my heavens, just all over. 35-0 in the first quarter. All Cowboys in that one.
Dusty, I know Carbon didn't make the playoffs, but I got a way to warm your heart, okay? How about the offense for North Sanpete showing up? 42-0, they take down Emory. That was for you, Dusty. The Hawks, the #1 seed, playing well in the first round.
The blue and white don't win as long as the black and gold go down. I mean, If we missed anything, hit us up on Twitter at Deseret News Rewind, at Dane_Stewart, at Dusty Litster. Let's get to the closing argument or closing statement. We're picking champions 4A, 3A, 2A. Who do you get in the championship game, and who are you taking?
Yeah, so the key there is who do you got in the championship game, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about who we think makes it there. I think this 4A bracket, boy, it's tough. For me, it was tough to figure out who I think makes it. I'm going to go... I'm going to give a lean to Park City. I'm going to go Park City out of the top end of the bracket, and I have them playing Skyview.
Park City, Skyview.
Park City, Skyview. And my winner, I'm going to go with Park City. I got the Miners.
I'm making sure that I'm not wrong, because I know who I'm picking. I'm making sure that I'm not looking at it wrong. And I don't want this to happen, because I want to call the game.
Yeah.
Deep in the heart of Dixie, Pineview Championship collision course.
Who wins?
Dixie Flyers get the revenge win on McLeod, Croton, and Pineview.
All right. To 3A we go.
To 3A.
All right, top bracket, I'm going to go with North Sanpete. I think they're the best team up there. I think they've been really solid. Morgan has something to say about that, I'm sure, but I'm going to go with North Sanpete. The team they will face, I'm going to go with Grantsville. I think Grantsville right now playing really, really well. Tell you what, that'll be a really, really fun quarterfinal if favorites play out in that bottom end of the bracket, but I'm going to go with North Sanpete and Grantsville. I'm going to go with North Sanpete to win the state championship.
Their first. It would be their first.
It would.
All right, so I got... it pains me. As much as I struggle with Emory, I struggle this much with North Sanpete in my history of being a Carbon Dino. But North Sanpete, I think they'd go through that top end of the bracket. But Morgan's got the licked wounds after that game against Grantsville. They were a little bit exposed there.
But, you know, maybe they can...
But Grantsville's that good, too.
Yeah.
But I'll go North Sanpete.
Okay.
And who's the only team that beat North Sanpete? The Juab Wasps. Juab gets him in the championship. Twice. They'll take him down twice, even though they're the 2 seed.
All right. To 2A.
Cade Bowering, I'm on you, Cade. I got your back.
To 2A.
2A.
Here we go. All right.
Where Dane's going?
Is there any doubt that Beaver is going to make it to the championship? I mean, the closest game this year, they won by like 87 points. So I think Beaver makes it to the championship. Bottom bracket, I'll tell you this, Milford-Millard, you got to watch out. I think that'll be a really interesting. I think they'll probably end up in the quarters. I'm going to go with Milford. So I got Milford and I got Beaver, right? Dusty, look, man, sometimes you just got to hold true to what you believe, right? I'm a Milford man. Come on, Bryson. I'm not giving up on you guys now. I think this would be a really fun championship, actually. I'm going to go with Milford.
As long as part 2 is better than the part 1. All right, so Beaver, I mean, that is a Ruckshaw.
Yeah.
Beaver, yeah, I'm all Beaver. We started it last year, showing Beaver highlights on this show.
Yep.
Beaver in the championship on that top end of the bracket, no doubt. I'll go Milford Tigers. I think they get that win over Millard.
Yeah.
If Millard's even at 100%, I'll still go Bryson Barnes and Milford. One of my favorite movies as a kid was Teen Wolf. And do you know the mascot for Teen Wolf's basketball team?
Is it the Beavers?
The Beavers. I'm on the Beavers there since I was a youngin'. I was that tall. Wore out that video. Michael J. Fox and crew taking care of it. Ham and the boys. But either way, I'm on Albrecht. I'm on the Beavers.
Bryson, Michael J. Fox isn't walking through that locker room.
Oh, it's good. Oh, it's so good. And not that, it was red versus blue in that one too.
Yeah,
So yeah. But I got Beaver winning the 2A state championship. Who do you got winning it? 4A, 3A, 2A. Hit us up. Look at our bracketology videos for 6A and 5A as well. For Vince Francis, Dane Stewart, I'm Dusty Litster. Thanks for joining us watching Deseret News Rewind on Deseret.com.